So I've seen a lot of people having problems with how to attach their patterns to the wood. And here's how I do it, which I find super easy. It's cost effective. There's numerous ways you can do it, but this is how I prefer. So you have your piece of wood. I always wipe it down with tack cloth first, just to make sure there's no dust or anything on it. And I wipe both sides. I don't know why I do that, but I do. Then I take contact paper, which it can be any brand. I've not found any difference with one over another, that it works better or doesn't work better. I kind of give it a rough measurement. I'm not going to be very exact about it because there's no point. And I cut it off. And I've already wiped this down, so there shouldn't be any dust or anything on it. Because it seems like when you're scroll sawing, there's dust all over everything. Then you fight with the corner to get it pulled off. And I just get one end of it pulled off because I don't want a bunch of folds or bubbles or anything in it. And I just find it's easier to pull off one edge and just give it a little fold over until I lay it on my piece. And then once it's on there, you just pull it off, smooth it down. Because you want this adhered well to your wood, just because it's going to stop your pattern from lifting. That's why you want to wipe it off too, because the adhesive on this, contact paper doesn't have a super strong adhesive, but it's more than strong enough to do this if you put it on a good surface. So your blade's not going to pull it up while you're cutting. And then I just fold over the edges. I don't bother, trimming it down. I mean, you can if you want, but it's just an extra step in my opinion. And you just want to make sure you don't have any dust or anything on that. Some people use like glue sticks. I just use spray adhesive. I don't have a particular brand I like over another. I just use them all. But I give it a shake. And my pattern is just when I print it off, I trim it down, which you don't even have to do that. But I do it just because I like having a better idea of where it's going to be laying on the piece of wood. So I do that. And then I take just an old box or whatever, lay your pattern face down, shake up your can. Or if you're using glue stick, you can either put the glue stick on the back, or you can rub the glue stick directly on your contact paper top. So either way. And I give it a good spray and make sure you get the edges well, because you really want to get those well. And then give it a few seconds to get tacky. And then you just place it on your contact paper and smooth it down really well. And now it's ready to cut. And what I like about this method, it's quick. When I'm done with my cuts, for instance, here's something I've already cut out that I've used the same method on. You can just peel it directly off. I have never had any problem with sticky residue or, which I know a lot of people have said that they do. Now this is actually MDF, which I don't like using MDF very often, but this was just a practice thing that I was doing when I first got this particular saw. But you just peel it off and then it's good to go. I mean, there's no residue left on that whatsoever. And then, for instance, with this being MDF, I would give it just a little sand over with some fine grit sandpaper, because MDF has a tendency of just being weird anyway. But if you give it a little sand over, it'll take off any of the MDF particles that have raised. So that's all you have to do. And the other thing I like about using contact paper is I don't end up with, You know, like if you use a glue stick, you can end up with glue buildup on your blade, and I don't like that. But this type of adhesive on the contact paper gives you a slight lubrication so that when you're cutting, it doesn't get overly hot. So hopefully that helps somebody out.